Today I closed out my NVDA trade for a 770% profit. And in this video, I would like to walk you through my exact process on what I was looking for in the trade, my trade confirmations, my thesis on why I wanted to get into this trade, and also my thought process while in this trade. Okay, so starting from a fresh chart, the first thing that I'm going to do when I'm looking for my swing trades, I operate completely different than I do on my day trades because my day trades are operating at a lower time frame. So on my swing trades, I wanted to start out on a monthly time frame. So as I'm going through my scanner, that I just have my basket of stocks that I'm looking at, I really just wanted to look for charts that were still in bullish trends and holding their structure well while the market was in this downturn due to all of the tariff deals that Trump was headlining. So we can see on the overall market that we had kind of this downturn ever since the Liberation Day on with the tariff news on April the in the beginning of April. So the one thing that I noticed with NVIDIA when it came across on my scanner is that it still continued to hold this structure, this monthly structure, very well. Um, and I was also looking at other tech names, and I noticed that on the other tech names like Tesla, NVIDIA, Apple, Google, their structure didn't look as good as this. And the first thing that pops out to me on this chart is that Nvidia is now back in discount of the kind of like this monthly range. It's been consolidating a little bit at these highs after breaking the all-time highs. It immediately cooled off. But when we came back and we tested this monthly fair value gap, it still continued to hold. The other thing I noticed was the swing low on this monthly sell side level right here, hold very well. So now I have two pieces of context, really three pieces of context that the name is holding well during the downturn of the market and the tariff deals. The structure of the monthly fair value gap holding and the sell side liquidity swept. So the other thing to note is it would have been completely different if in April this month closed kind of like how the previous monthly candle closed, where like we had a if we were to have a large bearish candle close below this sell side liquidity and also through this monthly fair value gap, but we didn't. So the next thing I want to do is I want to look on the daily time frame and see where was the most recent high that we had for NVIDIA to start breaking over, so we can start to see that change in structure back to the upside. And the first thing that I see is this high right here. Okay, so we have this high right here. I'm just going to mark it as my market structure shifts back to the upside after we tested this sell side liquidity and also inside of this monthly fair value gap. We have this daily high that Nvidia closed back over. And the other thing to note is we kind of have a little AMD situation going on right here as well, where we have our accumulation. Okay, we have our accumulation, and then we have our manipulation down back into the area of liquidity, and then now we're starting to be in our distribution phase. Okay, so we have this accumulation, and then we have our manipulation down, basically the fake move before the real move. And I'm really liking to start like this chart at this point. I noticed this chart on about the 17th of April. And then the next thing that was on my radar was if we take the fib and we drop it from the manipulation high to the manipulation low, we came back and we retested 50% of this range. So one thing that's really big in my system is I always like to enter at discount for long entries and premium for short entries. It's the same thing that you would think about with like a house. You wouldn't want to buy a house when it's at a discount, not at a premium, because if you try and sell it, you're probably not going to be making much profit. If you're trying to buy a stock, you want to buy it lower and then sell it higher. It's the same. The same rules apply. So now we have this retracement back into the 50% of the range, and we start to move back up, back into this range. So now I'm like, okay, I'm seeing everything that I want to see. this is looking good for a swing trade, because if we're technically speaking from a internal range liquidity to an external range liquidity standpoint, we this structure does on the monthly chart have the structure to go back to the upside to like two all-time highs. So I see that we have room to run from all the way down here. Like, we're entering at a discount, so it's a very low risk entry. And also, if this does run, the reward is great. The return on investment is great. So on the 28th is when I entered into my 140 calls. I bought some calls for that would expire May 23rd, just to get a little bit more time on the Greek, so I don't have the Greek decay and everything like that. I wanted to buy some more time out on these contracts, just so these contracts and this chart had a little bit of time to develop, because although this chart was holding up, the market was still in like a little bit of a downturn. And I'll get into my thought process of why I stayed in this trade as well. But we had this test of the discount, and then I entered when we started to get out back above it. On the 28th is when I entered into my calls, and then on the, I believe it was the 7th, Trump announced that he is preparing to remove the Biden and era chip export restriction. So this is what really sent this chart back up into this premium range, as well as two other things. The tariff deals that were starting to headline started to put a little bit of ease on the pressure that was on the overall market. So the one thing with this tech stock is if the NASDAQ is able to have like some sort of relief bounce, and this name is already stronger in that tech market, then once the NASDAQ starts to come off of its support and starts to rally, that's even more strength, and it's going to give this name even more legs. The other thing to note is that the news that was starting to come out about NVDA, as well as like regarding the chips, the tariff deals, and then also there was another headline that popped up yesterday during the middle of the morning trading session. NVIDIA and Humane announced a strategic partnership to build AI factories in Saudi Arabia. So now with all these factors that are aligning, I'm okay with holding this and trying to milk out as much profits as I can. One, because the structure looks good for back to the upside. Two, I bought enough time on the contracts for them to really work out if this decides to like chop around a little bit and the market started to pull back a bit. So I ended up exiting this trade at the 135 level this morning, after the pop, just because I believe that the market is starting to get overextended just a bit. I'm only trading with a small amount of size, but it's still netting me a 770% gain, which is great on my account size. And then also we're back into an area of premium where we could start to pull back. And since I'm trading with a small amount of size at the moment, I want to get as much profits as I can. 770% profit is nothing to like be upset about. So because I know that I can roll those profits into another contract, into another name, into another play. So I'm okay with taking profits right here. I originally had the 140 contracts, but overall this was just a great trade, a great swing trade. I haven't swung any trades in a long time, so for this trade to pop up on my radar like this and then to work out like this, it's very appealing. I will be taking some patience to look for the next swing setup because the market is a bit overextended right now. I'm going to start to look for some names to cool off. I'm going to start looking for some sectors to cool off and start pulling back to areas of support that were made during this recent run up. And then, just keep on going from there. But overall, this was a great swing trade, netting me 770% on the May 23rd, 140 contracts. So I hope you guys learned something from this video. If you would like me to start doing more swing trading reviews or swing trading tips or just talking about that even more, please let me know. Give my Instagram a follow. Please reach out if you have any questions. And I will talk to you guys next time.